Yep, you've seen the topic on this. And it's a term that's thrown around very loosely in the carnivore and keto as well as the vegan community. Uh, as you know, most of my content is pretty clean overall, but every once in a while, I got to address a topic that most people won't talk about. In the vegan, carnivore, and keto community, they like to call people other names and judge them for the way that they believe. And I'm, guilty of that as well at times. But whenever I'm called, and it's not to the extent that everybody else does it. Honestly, lately, I don't even care about what people believe or what they do or what doctor they find their faith in, because I don't find my faith or my relativeness in any of them. I don't trust any of the doctors. I don't find anything that they say is 100% true, and I kind of just do my own thing. Now, I was called a carnivore CUCK, and I was like, okay, what is this? I must be getting more popular, because now I'm finding people talking about me on the vegan channels. And there are two different terminology meanings for it. One, you could call somebody a CUCK that has a moderate set of political beliefs that doesn't fall into the extreme right or extreme left. Their political beliefs are just a little bit different, so you can call that person that. Or you could call somebody that basically means the person that they're with or their wife is not faithful to them. They sleep with other men, but in the rest of the relationship, they're faithful to them. Now, first of all, if I'm with somebody and I'm serious with that person, you can get anybody else. That is just my relationship. That's not for me to share with multiple people. So in that aspect of calling me a carnivore cuck, you would be completely wrong by doing so, because I don't share what is willfully given to be mine. Let's put it that way, because it's not mine. But what's willfully given to me, I don't share. So in that retrospect, that would be completely wrong. I'm not going to watch another man with my woman. If I can't do the business myself, there definitely ain't going to be another man doing it. And if that's the case, she can go on about her business and go find somebody else. So I think it's kind of funny that I would be called that in that regard. But then also on top of that, I find that the moderate political beliefs are kind of distracting as well, because I don't follow a liberal agenda, or I don't even follow more like a conservative agenda. My agenda I would probably say I'm more Republican than anything. Liberals to the, and this is just me, don't judge me for it. If you cause a bunch of problems on my group, regardless if you're my friend or not, I won't have nothing to say to you, and I'll probably mute you from the channel because I'm giving you my personal opinion. I don't need to hear your shit because I'm sharing what I believe with you. Liberals really bother me. They really, 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 really bother me. Whenever I'm dealing with a liberal, it's almost impossible to get a message across sometimes. The other night I was talking to a liberal lady that she's like 70 years old, and she was talking about abortion. And I said, I understand that there are some circumstances that justify abortion: incest, rape, the death of the mother or the child. You have to try to figure out exactly where you fall within that regard with the doctor, not just by yourself. You need to have a medical provider involved in this decision and your decision. And if it's incest, rape, or the life of one or the other is to be in jeopardy, then go ahead and make that call. I understand that situation. But just because it's your body and you decided to open your legs and let some idiot punk ass kid or whatever do the business inside you, you're both at fault. It's not just your body to say, well, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to go ahead and just kill this child because it's my body and I'm irresponsible. So I'm going to do this again as many times as it takes. There's a thing called the morning after pill. There's a thing called condoms, IUDs. There's all kinds of ways of preventing this from happening. Or how about wait until marriage and then have sex? But who am I to judge somebody? Now, I was having this conversation with this lady, and it was almost like I was talking to a wall. And I even put a meme up on Facebook about it that said, talking to a liberal about abortion is like talking to a wall. You may as well just go ahead and take the crazy pills because you're never going to get through to them. Now, Republicans can be said in their same way, but I do align more with a conservative Republican style following. I don't really follow a liberal agenda at all, and I think liberals, Democrats are more mixed up than anything. The mindset is more on giving away free, pushing towards putting a state more in debt than anything. This is my personal opinion, and whenever the Democrats were in office, I seemed to be hit the hardest financially and just overall, just my security, my feeling safe, my well-being and stuff. I don't feel very safe, and that's just my personal opinion, and I'm going to hold that. Now, if you don't like being here because of my personal opinion, then you can go. I'm not forcing you to be here, and nobody's forcing you to be here. You can do what you want, but I'm just talking openly to you because of the things that have been said to me lately. It's very bothersome. So I follow more of a Republican conservative style views, not completely, but I do. I don't really follow anything liberal at all. I mean, there are some things I can see and I can align with, but most things no. So to say that I'm a CUCK because of my moderate political views, I would think that that's completely wrong, because I don't follow anything moderately in between. I'm more right than I am anything, and I'm pretty strong that way sometimes, but I don't call myself a conservative, and I don't call myself a liberal. Some of the things that we say and call people because of the way we feel, sometimes it's just ridiculous, and it makes no sense at all. To call a vegan CUCK, it doesn't even make sense in their aspect, because they're gonna follow what they want to follow, and carnivores are gonna follow what they want to follow. Keto people are gonna follow what they want to follow. I don't care what anybody follows. It doesn't even matter to me anymore. I don't pay attention to what any doctor says anymore. I don't care what any vegan says anymore. I don't even care what any carnivore says anymore. Luke Miller the other day made a comment on my post about, I put a video up about turmeric, piperin from black pepper, and using butter, because the three of those together are very powerful in getting the anti-inflammatory effect from curcumin, the main ingredient in turmeric, and piperin, the main ingredient in black pepper, that helps absorb turmeric through the digestive tract and actually allows more of it to slowly break down and be released into the bloodstream. So I had talked about that, and Luke Miller, he's a YouTube buddy of mine on here, he said, what did he say? He said, he said it's something anti this and that, and it's cancerous or whatever, and Dr. Paul Saladino says that it's not good for you, and because Dr. Paul Saladino said it and he's smart, it must be right. I don't care what Dr. Paul Saladino said. I don't care what a damn Dr. Berry, Saladino, Berg, I don't care what any of them people say, honestly, to be honest with you. What they say is their business. It doesn't mean it's Bible. It doesn't mean it's true. It just means in their professional opinion. It doesn't mean fact. And I'll take that to my grave. I'm not going to put my relevance or 100% of my information in any one damn person. It doesn't make any sense. And some of you are so nutty with the people you follow, and I do mean literally nutty, that if somebody says one thing bad about them, oh my God, you got to tear that person up. Now all of a sudden they become the cucks and the vegan this and the soy boy that and everything else. And I'm like, man, this is getting ridiculous. This is really getting ridiculous. Nobody can have an opinion and follow the way they want to follow things because everybody else wants them to lean towards their agenda. You have to believe what I believe, and if you don't believe what I believe, then you're wrong. I don't care about what Dr. Paul Saladino says, or Dr. Berg, or Dr. Berry. Those guys were not in my life before my life started, before I decided to make the choice to start a ketogenic diet. So why in the hell do I care about what they say now? They got some good information, don't get me wrong. But the basis of what I talk and tell other people doesn't come, if my statement has to start with Dr. Berry says, Dr. Berg says, Dr. Paul Saladino says, automatically wrong. How about, in my experience, the amount of years that I've been doing this is what I've found out, this is what I've seen with other people, this is what I've noticed, this is what I've studied. Those things are very relevant. But anytime I start out a statement with, and I've done it before, I've made the mistake of doing it, well, Dr. So-and-so says, nah, I don't care about none of that crap anymore. I don't care. I really do not care. I don't care. I care about what goes on with me, my journey, what I learn along the way, the amount of people that I help, and exactly where to go with it. So if anybody calls me names, they should call me names on the basis of doing my own thing, my own way, and not listening to anybody else in the process of doing it. That's why I should be called names, not because I'm a carnivore CUCK, per se. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, people would even want to be that way. To me, it doesn't make any sense. And I see a lot of people that are subscribed to me on other people's channels. They act really nice here, and they have great conversations. But then when they go to other people's channels, they're a totally different person. I mean, totally different with the way they comment. Swear words, dropping names, calling people this and that, judging people. But when they're here, they don't do any of that. And it just shocks me. It shocks me the fact that people just can't be themselves. They can't be 100% real. Keep it 100, right? That's what they say. Keep it 100. Well, people aren't keeping it 100. On my channel, because I won't engage in that kind of conversation. It's just not me. And if you're going to be that type of person, be that type of person all the time. Don't pick and choose the type of person you're going to be based on the person you're talking to so you can seem cool or not cool to that person. Just be you. A fake asshole is the worst thing that I've ever had to deal with. People being fake, it makes me more upset than anything in general. If you're going to be you, be real. And what's another thing that's been going on a lot lately is people will come to my channel and they'll leave nasty comments and stuff like that, and they'll subscribe, and they'll go to all the videos and they'll start downvoting the videos, and then they'll bounce, and they'll come back and they keep doing it. Or I'll just get some random message somewhere from somebody that was sent from another group that whenever I do my informational videos on potassium and stuff like that, that I need to stop putting music in my slideshows because it's super freaking annoying to them. As if I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing in my content to fix or tailor to their particular view on how they like to see things. I swear to God, people sometimes, they amaze me. They amaze me at the fact that they think you're supposed to just quit doing everything that you're doing and do exactly what they want you to do. And here's another topic. While we're at it, let's go ahead and just dig the grave as deep as we possibly can. Older folks, I gotta tell you, sometimes you get it. You guys really get a kick out of, or I get a kick out of the jokes and stuff like that. I'll get messages from, when I say older folks, I mean people in their 60s and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, it's not an insult. It's just, it is what it is. And they'll come on my channel and I'll be talking about a controversial topic. And, all the people 20, 30, 40 years old, 50 years old, we're all having a good conversation. and we're kind of going along, but they'll come along, somebody in their 60s or 70s, they'll come along, and they'll all of a sudden that chest has got to get bowed up, and the nose has got to go up in the air, and then all of a sudden the keyboard warrior comes out. Oh, I can't believe you're talking about this topic right now. This is so super inappropriate. You know, you shouldn't be talking about this stuff to other people. And all of a sudden you're the worst guy in the world because they would not talk about it. It's inappropriate to them, so that means that you should not talk about it because it's inappropriate to them. I don't get that. I've never got that, and I don't understand how, because you wouldn't do something, now all of a sudden it means that it's projected on me, and that means that I shouldn't do it. I mean, that's like, I was gonna say something, but I think I'll refrain from saying it. It was kind of sexual, so I'll back off. What I was gonna say is that's like a man and a woman that's married, finding the traditional missionary sexual position is the only way that they're going to practice anything with each other, and saying, well, you know, this is how I was taught growing up back in 1910, and this is how we're going to do it, and anything outside of that is completely disrespectful, and it's disgusting, and that's not how a man treats a lady. Man, are you kidding me? You're about to get at every position that you could possibly get it. Disrespectful or not, that's not how everybody does things. Because you were born and raised in a different era does not mean that everybody else is going to do things the way you do things because that's how you see fit. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I get messages like that all the time. I mean, all the time. I even put up a post, a clickbaity type post on Facebook the other day, and it was, if you keep touching the button or something like that, a joke or something pops up, and it's a dirty joke, and they touched the button like 2 or 3 times and a joke popped up, and it was a dirty joke. It was what was it? I think somebody flagged it now, so it got taken down. It was a preacher, or a priest and a nun are on a camel. They're riding across the desert, and the priest looks at the nun and says, man, it's awfully hot out here. And she says, yeah, it's awfully hot out here. And she says, man, I could go for a cold drink right now. Well, they think they see some watering hole in the far distance, so they're riding up to this watering hole, but they just keep riding and riding and riding, and they don't get anywhere. And the camel passes out. Well, the priest and the nun get off the camel, and they're standing there, and they said, well, it looks like we're going to die here. And the nun looks at the priest and says, well, we're going to die. The priest says, so, you know, is there anything that you would ever want to confess or see before you die? And she said, well, yeah, I mean, there is. And she asked him, and it's the same thing, you know, is there anything you want to confess or see before you die? He says, well, yeah, of course. So, you know, they get to, he says, man, I've always wanted to see a sister with her top pulled up. And, you know, pulls her top up, and says, well, there, your wish is granted. You get to see it before you die, because you're going to die anyway. And she looks back at him and says, man, I've always wanted to see the big muscular body of a priest, you know. I don't know if it's muscular or not, but I've always imagined it is. And he says, well, I got news for you. It ain't muscular, but it's all right. He pulls his top up, or opens his priest's outfit. She says, okay, not bad, not bad. And the priest looks at her and says, you know, I've always wanted to kiss a sister. And she says, you know, I've kind of wanted to do the same thing as well. So they kiss each other, and they fulfill that thing before they die. And the last thing is, the priest looks at the nun, and the nun, and he says, you know, I always wanted to touch a sister down there. And she says, oh yeah, well, go ahead and touch me down there. Well, he goes ahead and he touches her down there. He says, oh man, that feels nice. I've never felt nothing like that before. Well, he starts getting excited, and his pecker starts growing, and she looks over there at the priest, and he says, well, it's your turn. And she says, what is that? He says, well, you know, that's my rod of life. And she says, well, I kind of want to live, so why don't you take that thing and stick it in that camel's ass over there, and let's get the hell out of here. Well, the camel passed out, it died. That's his ride of life. He's sticking it in that camel's ass. Let's get the hell out of here. I thought it was funny. I'm a Christian, but I ain't perfect. I thought it was hilarious, so I shared it. Well, one of them messaged me back and thought, because their views don't align with my views, and because they're more Christian than I'm more Christian, and because they believe this and that I shouldn't be talking and posting stuff like that. Guys, it gets ridiculous. It really, really, really gets ridiculous on how we judge people, how we think things are right, how we think we're the ultimate form of what a Christian is, and how they're people we do no wrong and we can judge everybody else for what they do wrong. I mean, it gets ridiculous, and it's sad the fact that that's what we honestly believe. You have any right to tell somebody else what they're not doing correctly. Yeah, and I loved it. I got a kick out of it. I really, really, really got a kick out of it, and I like posting stuff like that sometimes. I'm a Christian, but does that mean I'm perfect? No. I mean, look at Steve Harvey as well. Steve Harvey will curse on his shows right on live television. It don't matter. He'll curse. He tells dirty jokes and stuff like that, and he's just as Christian as anybody else is. But that's just the type of person he is. It doesn't mean that what he's doing is wrong. It just means that's just who he is. If people don't like it, they don't have to watch it. It's the same thing here. People feel like they need to call me names and you're a carnivore this and that. I mean, it's like, I don't know what your agenda is. I don't know why you feel like you need to judge me, like you got any business judging anybody, because most people really don't. They're pretty bad themselves, but they want to judge other people, and they need to look at themselves in the mirror to see exactly where the judging needs to be done. And I just have changed my content lately, like over the last 6 months, really, because I find that people on YouTube suck. They really do. They suck, and if you're not in their misery, then you need to accompany them, and they feel like that's their right to make you feel like you need to accompany them. If you're not miserable and mad and having a bad day like them, that means they feel like they're incomplete, and that you need to enjoy that miserable time as well. And the old saying, misery loves company. Well, that's true. It really is true. I mean, I've said, I've joked around and stuff like that, and I've even told a lady on Facebook before, an older lady, so she posted a picture of herself, and all her family members and stuff like that were telling her, oh, beautiful picture and stuff like that. And I said something along the lines of, that's one hot mama right there. Well, this lady'd been following me forever. I mean, forever, and we've been friends for a long time. And I get that from that Trace Adkins song, One Hot Mama. You turn me on, you turn it up, you turn this room into a sauna. One hot mama. That song. So whenever I said that to her, I was kind of being funny about it at the same time, but I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. I said, one hot mama. Well, she was super offended by it. Didn't want to be friends with me anymore. Decided she didn't want to talk to me anymore. And I'm like, what the heck, man? Like, seriously, people are so freaking sensitive. They judge everybody. They're so sensitive. They want to tear everybody up. Nobody's good enough for them, but yet they'll keep following them. It's like they want to be. There was a nurse here. What's her name now? What is her name? There was a nurse here that would follow me all the time. She had a picture of a black cat as her icon. And she would follow me. She would follow Bart Hay. She follows Frank Tufano. But because I don't like Frank, I don't really care for Frank too much. Frank gets under my skin. Frank tries to mass market all kinds of products and stuff like that. Frank is really out there to get big on YouTube, and I get it. Do your thing. If that's what you do, do it. But I don't have to like it, and I don't have to say nice things about him. This is my channel. I can put out what I want on this channel. But I don't talk bad about him. I have said things that have bothered me in the past before being honest. But I don't care if people like him or like me or like who. It doesn't matter to me. I don't really care for him too much. And I know there are a couple other big carnivore channels that don't care for him too much because they almost feel like he's doing it more for the popularity and selling products and stuff like that. And in the grand scheme of things, that is what it's about, because a lot of that stuff has been brought in lately. Well, I had spoke out about that. And all of a sudden, because I spoke out about what Frank was doing, I'm the worst person in the world, because I gave my God's to honest, true opinion on what I'm seeing. And now all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that about Frank, because Frank's helping so many people. I don't care what Frank's doing. I don't care what people he's helping. If it's the truth and I want to speak about it, I'm going to speak about it. If he was really out to help all these people all the time, then why would he just not focus on helping all these people out all the time? If it's not about the money, then why would he go any further than that? It's more than just about helping people. It is about the money. And if anybody tells you anything outside of that, they're completely wrong. Even for me, the monetization, the views on my channel does help me take time away from my day to do stuff like this. But I take that money and I invest it back into sending people crock pots, Instapots. I give them that money back. I don't keep that money for myself, or else I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in. You know, I just feel like, you know what, Mark, I completely agree with you. Frank is a narcissist. And it's got to be his way, or his way and his way only. And he's the one that created carnivore. He's the one that started this movement. It's all because of Frank, and the whole world revolves around Frank, because it's him. He did this, he did that, he came up with this information. You know what? Dr. Paul Saladino is 10 times smarter than Frank when it comes to this stuff. Frank has to go study all of this stuff. Frank has to look it up. He's got to go to the research. He's got to put hours into writing stuff down and rehearsing things. Paul doesn't have to do that. Paul can go to you and straight tell you, you know what? On a carnivore diet, you're missing butyrate, and butyrate converts into other short-chain short-chain fatty acids. And if you get a good quality grass-fed butter, it's got butyrate in it, and your body will actually convert that to those short-chain fatty acids that you're missing, and you're going to make up for that deficiency if you consistently use it. Frank can't do that. He can't just spit that stuff out right away without having to go back and study. I met Paul. I started bringing Paul onto my keto group back when he had like 250 people on his YouTube channel. He wasn't even thought of. And I brought Paul on my keto group, and I shared a video with him, and I went back and forth in a live with him, and the dude was great. He was spitting out tons of stuff that I'd never even heard before. Now, don't get me wrong, Paul's great and he's very smart, but I don't give a shit about what Paul says, to be honest with you. I care about my life and my journey and what I learn. I'll take what he says and I'll use little bits and pieces of it throughout life if I need to, but the bulk of my information comes from me. Frank thinks the whole damn world revolves around his little carnivore pretty boy body, and it doesn't. And you know, Frank is Frank, and I accept him for that. I like what he does, and I think he's doing good stuff, but I think there's a lot of stuff that Frank retracts from his own statement, and you know, that's just my opinion, and that's what I'm sticking to. It seems like the more and more people push this movement, the more and more people become dogmatic. And just like when I was talking to Luke yesterday, he commented on my turmeric video and said, well, that stuff is dangerous and it's gonna hurt you anyway, and Dr. Paul said this and said that. I said, dude, you know what, I don't mind you posting on my videos, but post stuff that you know is 100% true. Just because you said it or somebody else said it or Dr. Paul said it does not mean it's 100% true. If you don't know something's not 100% true, which none of us know, honestly, none of us know if any of this stuff is 100% true. We're just doing what works for us, and that's all we can do. Then why go force it on other people? You know, turmeric, butter, and pepper, all three are the best combination together, because the fat from the butter pulls it into your lymphatic system, or the fat from your food pulls it into your lymphatic system. The piperin in pepper buffers your liver to help you actually slowly release the turmeric into the blood, and it stops the breakdown of it being forced out of the body. And then it actually prepares your digestive tract to absorb turmeric properly. So those three together are very important. Fat, black pepper, and turmeric together. That's why you'll see a lot of bottles that say turmeric and black pepper in the same thing, because they're a really great combination. The Healthline study I posted on my video the other day says it boosts absorption rates up to 2,000% by just having black pepper with the turmeric. Anyway, this what does all this come down to? This all comes down to me telling you guys, I don't care what your age is. I don't care what religion you follow. I don't care where you're at in your life. I don't care regardless of what you want to do in your life. For one, don't expect me to change what I do for you. Number two, I'm not going to judge you for doing what you do. Don't judge me. Number three, I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care what you are. As long as you're civil to me, I'm going to be civil to you. I am a Christian, but I'm not going to judge you for any of that stuff. I don't care if you believe the earth is flat. I don't care if you believe the earth is square. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is my relationship with you. So because I don't align with something that you say, doesn't mean you're more right or wrong, and it doesn't mean I'm more right or wrong. So some of the things that have been said on my channel lately have been kind of extreme. And I try to do the same thing, and I appreciate your support. I try to eat little bits of vegetables and stuff from time to time, but really I don't. I eat mainly animal products. I will add a vegetable in every once in a while, kind of like how we used to live. They didn't eat that stuff all the time. They ate it sometimes though. So I might go like a week or two with nothing but eggs and bacon and steak and chicken and pork and stuff like that, and I won't eat anything else outside of that. But then I might have 2 or 3 days where I might actually eat a little salad for 3 days, and then I'll go back to eating meat for the next 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. I mean, I'm not going to stop and restrict my life because, Frank Tufano says this is the way it is, and all of a sudden every single vegetable in the world kills you, and it's going to pop your eyeballs out of their socket, and they're going to mutate and turn into giants and then take over the world or something. I mean, gosh, if you're a Christian at all, which I think I don't know, I think Frank's Italian, I think his family is probably Catholic or some kind of Christian or something like that. If you do believe in anything that's in the Bible at all, in the original way, back before the flood, people were vegan. People only ate green and stuff from the trees and stuff like that. After the flood came, Noah came off the ark and was burning the offerings. God smelt the offerings and said, look, there's nothing to actually feed you. Everything's wiped out on this entire earth. And it kind of made him think that I have to give you something to eat. So at this point is when God gave Noah, man, dominion over land. Said, all things I give to you. The animals, the green on the trees, everything. I give it to you to use it as food, nutrient density. This is what you should live off of now. But in the process of doing that, I'm going to lay out a set of rules in order for you to do this. So vegans come to me and they try to make up these lies and stuff about why this in the Bible. No, I'm pretty well versed when it comes to it. I'm not exact, but I'm well versed when it comes to it. It doesn't say anything about that. That's why you can find my Sunday segment on here called Vegan Lies. It's the Sunday segment where I take what they say about the Bible and I actually show you what the Bible says, and it's the complete exact opposite of what they're even saying. So when Noah came off the ark and burnt the offerings, and God smelt that, he gave them animals. He gave them green on the trees and green on the grounds. He gave them things that you can't eat and things you can eat. Later in the Bible, when you actually read it, it talks about split hoofs, not doing this. If it crawls on the ground, not eating that. But lamb for Passover was a thing that was given. You can eat any animal in this category, but just don't eat its blood. Make sure you spill the blood from the animal, because that's the sinful part. Even way back then, it's written that they were given the okay to eat animal flesh as well as the green on the trees. So there's a lot of lies going around. There's a lot of beliefs going around. And there's a lot of people that claim that they're Catholic and they're Christian and stuff like that, but then they turn around and do the exact opposite of what their actual belief is. Oh yeah, I'm a diehard this and Catholic, Christian, everything else, but yet they're out here preaching about they're two-faced. They're liars, is what they are. They're liars. They will get on the camera and stuff like that, and they'll tell you about how carnivore this and carnivore that, and don't eat vegetables, and you're going to die if you do this and that. but then they say that they're diehard Christians or Catholics or something like that, and they do the exact opposite of what they're diehard about or what they actually believe in. So it's kind of hard to believe anybody, and I like to bring things into perspective to say, you know what, I don't care what you are, I don't care what you believe or what you do. Let's just talk and be respectful to each other. I don't care if you're a vegan, there's a newer keto. It's called keto ketonist or ketorist, or I don't know what it freaking is. There's like a new keto that's been out for like the last 6 months to a year or something like that, that I just found out, where it's a predominantly like 80% vegetable based keto diet. It's not a vegan keto diet. Most of it comes all from vegetables, and I didn't even know there was such a thing. And we keep coming out with all these stupid new terms for stuff. It makes no sense at all. If you want to eat a predominantly based vegetable keto diet, then just call it a damn keto diet. Why do you got to keep calling up a name for it or whatever? You know, when Danny Vega a couple years ago wanted to add more protein and fat into his keto, he wanted to start calling it Carnivore Keto, or Keto Carnivore. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell would you even call it that? Just call it keto. I mean, you're doing the same thing. You're just changing your macro ratio up. You're just making things a lot more complicated by giving things 10,000 different names because somebody needs to fit in a category. This stuff doesn't make sense to me, why we keep doing this stuff. And we could simplify. We talk about being a minimalist in so many standpoints, and we talk about simplifying things in life in general, but we turn around and make them more complicated for other people in the long run. Like, why would you not just say, look, I have a predominantly meat-based keto diet. I mean, I have some vegetables, but I have a lot of protein and fat, and it works for me. But it's still a keto diet. Why do I have to call it all these freaking goofy names just to confuse people and stuff now? And I'm looking online like, what is this name I've never seen before? And now I'm confused. And then I got to go look it up, and then it's not even referenced that much, and I don't even know what the heck they're talking about. And then I keep looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and none of the stuff makes any sense. And I'm saying, oh, you're just adding a little bit more nut oil in, now you've given it a new name. Oh, you've just added a little bit more meat in it, but you've given it a new name. Now you've added more veggies, but now you've given it a new name. Why don't you just freaking call it keto? Just call it keto. There are so many different versions of it. It just makes it so much easier if you just say, oh no, it's keto. And then if they ask, then you can explain to them. But I don't even tell people I do a keto diet anymore. I mean, honestly, the other day, whenever I went to go see the service manager at the new job, I showed up and I said, you know, I eat a dominant meat-based diet, and I'll add vegetables in a couple times a week, maybe a couple times every couple weeks, and I just salt and butter all my food, and I just make sure it's green vegetables if I eat them, it's berries if I eat some kind of fruit, or meat. The meat is an open door. I can have as much in it as I want, and then I just go from there. So let me grab this real quick, guys. To hell with it, they can wait. Anyway, I don't even tell people I do keto or carnivore. Let me see what you guys said. I didn't see that. The guy Frank is weird. He doesn't even look at a real person. His teeth and white eyebrows. I mean, Frank's got it. Frank's into cosmetics and teeth and doing this and probably squirting. I don't know if he's squirting coffee grounds up his ass or what it is. I don't know what they do. I'm not into all that beauty stuff and trying to make my skin look like it's a freaking glowing goddess or something. And I'm not into all that stuff. And you know, some people just rub you the wrong way. Some people like you. Most of them, they just feel like saying, I eat food, so tired of place label. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Corey. I don't really even like calling it anything anymore. I just tell people, look, I eat meat, and I put real butter on my food, and I salt my food, and then I'm happy. And I'll throw veggies in sometimes. I hate calling it a label because we've taken something that was such a beautiful thing, and we've bastardized it. We've brought the dogma to it. We've destroyed the image of it. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It should have just stayed Dr. Eric Westman's way of doing keto. Here's a list of keto approved foods. Go have the foods. Go eat off of it. You'll be fine. But we've destroyed it. And I don't know. I don't even feel so proud anymore to call myself part of the carnivore keto community, because everybody's dogmatic pricks now. And everybody claims to have the 100% answer for the next person's problems just so they can get more views and more subscribers and stuff like that. Are you kidding me? There's so many of us out here that don't have the answers for anything. All we can do is just do the best that we can to entice somebody to do their own research and try different things out until they find the right thing. It bugs me bad. And then the name calling and stuff on top of that. And there's a lot of times somebody, especially the young men, don't really bother me so much. The middle-aged men don't really bother me so much. It's the guys that are like 50 and above. They think because I'm a young guy, they need to assert some kind of dominance over me. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm pretty freaking educated, man. There's not very much dominance you can assert over me. And they almost act like bullies and stuff, like they need to assert that level of, I'm older, you're going to listen to me. Well, I'm smarter, I'm younger, I'm faster, I'm a hell of a lot stronger probably. I don't think I'm very intimidated by you at all, but it seems like they just want to try to control certain carnivores, I should say. And if you go to some of the carnivore groups and just speak your opinion about something or ask a question, one of the first people that kind of pop up is that 45 to 50 range or above. It's just, some guy the other day, somebody asked a basic question about adding maybe just 1 or 2 keto foods into their carnivore journey, and sure enough, what happened, like the third or fourth comment in, it was a guy that was in like his late 40s, early 50s. He popped up and said, well, that's not part of a carnivore diet. Why in the hell would you even be doing that? And I replied to him like, what the hell is wrong with you? If every single person replied with the way you did, nobody would even try carnivore or keto or any of these low glycemic diets. You freaking jerk. Like, seriously. I wish you would go talk to people like that in real life, because you won't do it. You're not brave enough. You're probably a big, giant, old-ass pussy when it comes down to it. So, I just don't understand how the keyboard warrior stuff gets people by, but in real life, they would never act that way. They would never do that stuff to people's face. They would just simply they would speak their opinion and they would move on, like how we should do it, but that's not even how they would do it. And, a lot of these people in real life are completely different. How you see me right now, and the way I say things to people and stuff like that, regardless if it's wrong or right, in real life, I'm the same exact way. I do not change how I am. I'm the same way all the time, no matter what. So, and that's what I don't get, is a lot of these people change their faces. They got a face for social media, a face for YouTube, a face for Instagram, a face for all the different filters and stuff on the different social media platforms, because they don't like people seeing their real face. And then they got their face for their real life, which is probably their best face overall. I like to see people. I like to see people, real people. That's what I like. Okay, talked enough. I'm gonna go in here and get my stuff out of this room and start my journey towards the new job. I'll do a video later about that. They went ahead and let me go from my job last night that I was working, because there's no point. It's really slow, and I'm starting the new job Tuesday, so they just said go ahead and go. There's no point in staying around here if you're gonna leave anyway. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about it later. If you agree with anything that I had to say in here, let me know. If you don't agree, well, I don't care. Thumbs up, no thumbs down. We don't want thumbs down, only thumbs ups. And then be blessed. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Try to help you best I can.